nice.
All right. Can y'all hear me? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. It is so wonderful to have you all here in your brand new county building. Here in this building, we will have the county clerk's office, the health department, the assessor's office, the tax office, county prosecutor, engineering, planning, and zoning. You can come to this building to get a permit for an inspection, to pay your taxes, register to vote, to get justice, or hey, maybe even to get married. Who knows? We have been looking forward to hosting this meeting for a while. Now we're finally here. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to come share your views. We are starting this evening with a community discussion on the future of downtown Charlestown, and specifically the future of buildings on Washington Street that the county owns. We'll get to that in just a second. First, I wanted to tell everyone how we got here. For years, Jefferson County was saving up to construct new facilities to meet the growing needs of our court system government offices. The estimated cost for this project was around $90 million, based on industry standard construction costs. Instead, we negotiated a $23.5 million purchase from American Public University System for 2 modern energy efficient buildings. We're in one of them right now. This beautiful building is LEED certified platinum, and it came fully furnished. All those comfortable chairs that you were in came with the purchase at $156 per square foot. That's less than half the cost of the lowest new construction estimate, and a fraction of what it would cost to build to the standard of the building that you're in right now. So the numbers are clear. Buying these buildings saves tens of millions of dollars compared to building new. And even factoring in an estimated $11.5 million necessary upgrade primarily for court security for the clock tower building, our total investment will be around $35 million, still far below the original $90 million plan. We went down from 90 all the way down to 35. So the savings are staggering. And what does that mean in terms of dollars? The maintenance and energy cost savings, by upgrading to a modern energy efficient facility, we're going to save as a county $500,000 every year. That's on an annual basis. Our recent building study shows we will save about $200,000 per year in maintenance alone. The energy savings are even more impressive. The LEED Platinum building we're in and the LEED Gold building combined for about $286,000 in savings every year. You put that together, $486,000 every single year in savings. So how are we going to pay for the building? We're making a roughly $7.5 million down payment from our reserves. The remaining $16 million will be financed through bonds, and with debt service covered in large part by a combination of impact fees, that's about $400,000 per year, and the significant annual savings on energy and maintenance that I just talked about, another $500,000 per year. These sources alone nearly cover the yearly bond payments, with any shortfall easily managed through adjustments to the amounts that we save for large capital purchases. The big hurdle we have to overcome is what we discussed at our last meeting. We need to convert the clock tower building, the other building that we purchased, from an office building into a courthouse. This will be expensive, primarily due to costs related to court security. Our latest estimate is $11.5 million. So we have to raise the funds to pay for those court security upgrades. And that brings us to the topic for discussion tonight, what to do with the county properties on Washington Street. We have spent the past few months finalizing our numbers and estimates on court security upgrades. As I said, the latest estimate is 11.5. That's a $2.5 million increase from our last estimate. $2.5 million just in the Delta. Okay. That change in estimated costs is about roughly the total assessed value of all the Washington Street properties combined. So the cost for these court facilities will be large. As we talk about the future of Washington Street, I hope that everyone in the audience and everyone in the county will keep in mind that this is not just a wish list pie in the sky discussion. There are very real cost constraints that we face as a county, and ultimately each and every one of you as taxpayers in Jefferson County. So with that in mind, let's recognize the opportunity before us. The County Commission owns a suite of properties on Washington Street that makes up basically a block of downtown Charlestown. The most important thing we can do as a county is to turn these properties from the government sector, which does not pay taxes, to the private sector, which does. And moreover, by bringing all of our county employees to downtown Charlestown, we are dramatically increasing the foot traffic for local shops, restaurants, and businesses. This is a big move that will reinvigorate downtown Charlestown and a historic step for economic development in Jefferson County. Now, let's talk specifics. We have a series of speakers tonight. We want to hear from all of you in the audience. Here's how it will play out. First, we'll have an overview of the properties and the process, then a presentation by business groups, and finally a presentation from potential buyers. Our county attorney will explain in just a minute how there are a limited set of entities that can purchase these properties. That's under state law. And after these presentations, everyone in the audience will be able to comment on the Washington Street properties. Then we'll start our regular meeting. So we'll have public comment on our community discussion. That's the whole idea here. Before I turn it over to our county attorney to explain the legal limitations, I want to call your attention to this flyer. It's on the table outside. We have a ribbon cutting event July 26th, that's Saturday. And it starts at 2 p.m. and it won't be just a sneak peek at this one meeting room. You'll be able to see the whole building. Starting at 2 o'clock, we'll have outdoor festivities, a ribbon cutting ceremony at 4 p.m., a family scavenger hunt at 5 p.m., a family movie night at 6 p.m. from 6 to 8, food, games, fun as we open up your building to the public. And this is a hub built for access, service, and community. We cannot wait to welcome you officially with that ribbon cutting Saturday, July 26th. At this building, we'll also have the Clock Tower building open, and the movie is sponsored by the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. With that, I'll turn it over to our county attorney, Mr. Cochran, to explain the legal options regarding the sale of commission-owned properties in West Virginia. And Mr. Cochran, if we can keep it to 10 minutes or less.
I have some very good news with that. I've edited my presentation several times, and I do have it down now to 2 hours and 47 minutes. So, did you have that popcorn available now? Seriously, thank you, commissioners. Thanks to our county administrator. Thanks to many other folks that were involved in this purchasing these buildings and things like that. It's been a lot of effort on behalf of a lot of people, and it's been a long time coming. We greatly appreciate that, and it's going to do great things for Jefferson County. But I think this is going to help Jefferson County as we move into the future, but it does bring some questions to the table, because we have property, and what are we going to do with the property that we already have, the property that we are moving out of? Probably one of the most important foundational points is to recognize that we are a Dillon's Rule state in West Virginia. And what that really means is that we can only do what the state government authorizes us to do in code. We can't just do what we want. We can't act because the code doesn't say we can't, we can do it. No, the code has to give us authority. There's a case from our neighboring county, Berkeley County, and it's called the State Line Sparkler case, and it succinctly talks about this principle. The county commission is a corporation created by statute and possessed only of such powers that are expressly conferred by the Constitution and legislature, together with such as are reasonably and necessarily implied in the full and proper exercise of the powers so expressly given. This is the most important sentence. It can only do such things that are authorized by law and in the mode prescribed. So we are constrained by the law in how we deal with that property. It just so happens that the legislature has considered the issue of selling property. And in West Virginia Code 733, there's a specific statute that says, and I'm only reading pieces of it just for the sake of time. The county commission of a county is authorized by law. We talked about the Dillon's Rule. We're looking for an authorization in the law, right? And so we have that in this statute. The County Commission of a county is authorized by law to sell or dispose of any property, either real or personal, belonging to the county. And again, skipping a few words here and there, the property shall be sold either at an on-site public auction or by utilizing an internet-based public auction service, and the sale shall be conducted by the president of the county commission. And it goes on to describe notice and things like that. So that's how we can sell the property. Now, that's subdivision A. Subdivision B says, the provisions of subsection A in this section concerning the sale at public auction do not apply to a county commission selling or disposing of its property for public use to the United States of America, the state of West Virginia, or its political subdivisions, which it goes on to name a bunch of those: the Board of Education, volunteer fire departments, ambulance services, or any community center organization or nonprofit senior center, or any authority, commission, instrumentality, or agency established by act of the state of West Virginia or any of its political subdivisions. And so there's more to the statute. For sake of time, I'm going to stop. But basically, we can either auction this property off, or we can find some governmental or other agency like it's described and work out a deal with them.
Excellent. And just really quickly, when you say subdivision of the state government, does that include local governments?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the state of West Virginia or its political subdivisions, the county commission is a political subdivision of the state of West Virginia. And so would the municipalities be.
Okay. Next, we will have Director Kuhn, Laura Kuhn, overview. What are these properties? I see former Commissioner Nolan is coming up to the dais. Thank you so much. I want to introduce you. Patsy Nolan is a former county commissioner, and thank you so much for joining us for this presentation, also on the history of Washington Street properties and potential uses. Thank you, ma'am.
So we decided that it would be easier to riff off each other's. I'll give my portion, and she's going to talk about the history.
Cool. Sure. I'm Laura Kuhn, the Director of Fleet and Facilities Management for the Jefferson County Commission. And I'm super excited to be here for our first County Commission meeting. Yeah.
And to go over what I'll be sharing, I'm going to share an overview of our Washington Street properties, buildings that have long served as the core of county government operations in Charlestown. My goal today is to highlight the character, functionality, and strategic locations of each building to demonstrate their potential for a wide range of future uses. These buildings are more than just square footage. They're part of the fabric of Charlestown.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and uses of these buildings in the past.
As you can imagine, we have a new AV system, so we're hooking up the presentation. We're going to show that on these screens around the room. Commissioner Keys, what are you looking forward to more, the outdoor festivities, the family scavenger hunt, or the family movie night?
Movie night,
Movie night?
yeah.
Oh.
We're going to be playing Moana 2, I believe, so kid-friendly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's Sounds good. Is that G?
I think so.
All right.
Better music in the first one, but.
Okay, there you go. All right, looks like the presentation's ready.
You're good. And you can go ahead and go into slide 2, I think. All right. So Jefferson County's Washington Street properties are located on the 100 block of East Washington Street in Charlestown, which is about 1 hour and 20 minutes from Washington, D.C. These buildings include the Hunter House, the Mason Building, the Smoot Building, the Reininger Building, the Moffett Building, and the historic Jefferson County Courthouse. Next slide. So the neighborhood is home to a welcoming mix of families and working individuals who create a friendly and community-oriented atmosphere. The average age is about 38.5 years, median household income $94,830. Some of the nearby amenities are Harpers Ferry National Historic Park, Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races, Summit Point Motorsports Park, Shepherdstown, and the Appalachian Trail, to name a few. Next slide. So our history, Charlestown was founded in 1786 by George Washington's youngest brother, Charlestown was built for commerce, law, and community, and it still delivers. With a walkable downtown, rich architectural legacy, and strategic proximity to DC and the I-81 corridor, the city blends historic charm with modern market potential. From the trial of John Brown to the boom of tourism and revitalization, Charlestown has always been at the center of regional momentum. Today, its historic properties offer rare opportunities for investors to anchor themselves in a growing high-visibility market. All right, next slide. So we're going to start at the end of the block at the Hunter House at 124 East Washington Street. The Hunter House is a stately 2-story brick residence, complete with a turret and inviting covered porch. It stands as a landmark of Charlestown's rich heritage. It was originally built around 1820 for Andrew Hunter, who was a prominent local attorney and chief prosecutor in the John Brown trial. The property symbolizes both civic prominence and architectural grace. It was burned by Union troops in July of 1864, ironically under the orders from Hunter's own cousin. It was meticulously rebuilt on its original foundation after the Civil War. In the mid-20th century, the building gained life as the beloved Iron Rail restaurant, adding a commercial legacy to its historical significance. Next slide. So the Hunter House is about 5,825 gross square feet. For this presentation, I'm doing gross square feet, which is the measurements from the outside of the building. The lot size is 0.344 of an acre. The Hunter House features a spacious grassy rear yard that enhances the site's historic residential character and provides green space within the downtown setting. At the back of the lot stands a small carriage-style house at about 1,881 square feet. It currently houses the County Commission, administrative offices, and the prosecuting attorney's civil division.
And as Laura said, about 150 years prior to the County Commission's purchase of the Hunter House, she has already explained that Andrew Hunter, who was the prosecuting attorney who prosecuted John Brown, lived there. 150 or so years later, the Hunter House was the Iron Rail Inn, which was a restaurant that was known for its delicious broccoli cheese soup. Some of us in the audience may remember that and have a lot of fond memories. They also had a little bar downstairs in the basement, which was kind of fun too.
So next slide, which would be the Mason Building at 116 East Washington Street. The Mason Building is a 2-story red brick office structure with a symmetrical and traditional design. The building features a central entrance highlighted by a modest pediment and columned portico, adding a touch of classical architectural style. A gable with a decorative half-moon vent crowns the central section of the roof line. Windows are evenly spaced above both floors with double-hung sash windows framed by subtle brick lintels and sills. The front entrance is accessible by a ramp, enhancing accessibility while maintaining a clean and professional facade. This building is 13,272 square feet, lot size of .449. After it's purchased by the county, the building initially served as the home of the Sheriff's Department. Parks and Recreation also operated from this location until they relocated to San Michael's Park. Additionally, the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management was based here before moving to Bardane. Currently, it houses the Department of Engineering, Planning and Zoning, GIS, IT, and the county's mailroom.
The building originally, my husband thinks the building was originally built and Supertain Gas was there for a while. We've tried to confirm that, but I'm not sure about that. But the Mason House is named for the man who built it. His name was Mason Whiting, and he is the brother-in-law of the former circuit clerk years ago, Doris Whiting.
All right, so next slide will be the Smoot Building at 114 East Washington Street. The Smoot Building is a narrow two-story structure with a modest but distinct historic appearance. Its upper facade features detailed cornice brackets and ornamental window hoods. The second-story windows are framed in white trim and adorned with decorative woodwork. The storefront entrance includes a recessed doorway flanked by two large display windows. Though compact in size, the building's decorative trim and prominent front-facing windows give it a recognizable and somewhat vintage storefront character and along the streetscape. So the Smoot Building is 1,487 square feet, lot size of .03. Before being purchased by the county, the Smoot Building was an insurance agency. The building is currently vacant due to egress issues identified by the West Virginia State Fire Marshal. In the past, it housed the Jefferson County Impact Fee Office, which was later absorbed into the Department of Engineering, Planning and Zoning. The building also temporarily served as a location for the tax office and Jefferson County Teen Court.
And prior to the county owning it, it was also used as a variety wholesale shop. My husband and his friends used to buy the entire series of baseball cards from that shop, and as they became available, I'm not going to duplicate what Laura has had to say, but the county, when the fire marshal actually closed this building down because it wasn't safe to have anything there, it didn't really have enough square feet. The county commission considered restoring it, but it really didn't have enough square feet to be able to do anything with it that would have been useful to the county, so it sat vacant since then.
Okay, next slide is the Moffett and Reininger buildings. So I've grouped the Moffett and Reininger buildings together in this presentation because while they're technically two separate structures, they are internally connected on both floors, functioning as a single unified space. So visitors going to the assessor's office actually can access the assessor's office through the main entrance of the courthouse. There was a little addition built onto the courthouse between the Moffett building and the courthouse that serves as the entrance to the Moffett building for the assessor's office. So these buildings are connected. The Moffett building on the left features a buff brick facade with decorative brown brick accents and a classical Greek key frieze beneath an ornate cornice. A large storefront style window and recessed doorway reflect its early 20th century commercial origins. The adjoining Reininger building to the right showcases a more uniform red brick exterior with detailed brickwork around the tall, narrow windows and a prominent cornice with dentil molding. The ground floor includes multiple entrances with large display windows and a covered entrance porch, now equipped with accessibility ramps. So the Moffett building is 5,172 square feet with a lot size of .034. Reininger, 7,755 square feet with a lot size of .087. The Moffett and Reininger buildings have undergone several functional transformation over the years. Originally, the first floor of the Moffett side housed the assessor's office, while the Reininger side included the county meeting room and the tax office. The second floor accommodated the engineering and planning and zoning department on the Moffett side, and the county commission offices were in the Reininger building on the second floor. As needs shifted, the assessor's office expanded into the former county meeting room, and meetings were then relocated to the library basement. When the tax office later vacated its space, the assessor's office expanded further into the Reininger side. The county commission relocated to the Hunter House, and engineering, planning, and zoning moved to the Mason building. The vacated spaces were then repurposed to house probation services. The assessor now occupies the entirety of the first floor of both buildings, while the probation department occupies the entirety of the second floor of both buildings.
Moffitt's, we used to call it Moffitt's Pharmacy. There was a pharmacy in there, as well as a soda fountain. And for those of us who attended what was once the Charlestown Junior High School, which is now Wright Denny Middle School, we would congregate in there after school for a snack and just to socialize. So I have some great memories of that building. Upstairs in that office space that the assessor now uses, the county housed the probation department, which was once, and it was also a the county commission office, but years prior to that, it was actually an apartment building.
So next on the slideshow is the historic courthouse at 100 East Washington Street. The historic Jefferson County Courthouse is a striking example of Greek Revival architecture and a central landmark in downtown Charlestown. Its red brick exterior is accented by a grand portico supported by the towering white columns, leading to a classical pediment with a louvered arched vent. Rising above the roofline is the stately clock tower. The tower includes 4 clock faces that overlook the surrounding streets. The tower not only enhances the building's historic character, but it also serves as a visual focal point for the town, visible from blocks away. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the courthouse has served a variety of public functions over the years, connecting the community's past with its present through both its architecture and its ongoing civic role. The courthouse is 17,850 square feet with a lot size of .354. Over the years, the historic courthouse has served as the central hub for numerous county departments, reflecting its long-standing role in local governance. In addition to housing the circuit court and county clerk functions it still serves today, the courthouse was once home to the circuit clerk's office, the county commission offices, and the county commission meeting chamber. These essential government functions operated under one roof, making the courthouse not only a judicial center, but also the administrative heart of Jefferson County. Its multifunctional use over the decades highlights the building's significance in the daily workings of county government and its enduring role as a symbol of civic leadership.
The courthouse has always been the courthouse and has always been a source of pride to our residents. Some of you may remember when the film Gods and Generals was filmed there. When that happened, the interior of the courtroom underwent some major restoration and renovation by the filmmaker. That renovation added years of life to that courtroom, which is still in use today. It's pretty remarkable that it is able to be used, and that's only through the generosity of the folks that did the restoration, as well as our facilities people who've been able to accommodate the information technology that's been needed to continue to use it. It has truly been remarkable. If you've ever seen the film of Gods and Generals, you would recognize the courtroom. It's a pretty incredible film. And during the films of Gods and Generals, it wasn't uncommon to walk through the hallways downstairs to see Robert De Niro sitting on one of the benches talking to employees and passersby.
I actually got my picture taken with Robert De Niro that day. It was really fun. Yeah. So next slide is some extra parcels we have behind the
Director
buildings.
Kuhn, before you move on, I just want to let everybody in the audience know, if you haven't been reading the paper for a while, the commission has stated several times there's no intent to sell the courthouse. We'd like to have that turned into a museum. We've already discussed with several different bodies who we could work with on that. Please continue.
So next, we have some extra parking parcels. The Hunter House and Mason building parcels included dedicating parking areas. But these two separate parking parcels provide convenient parking behind the courthouse, Moffitt, and Reininger building, as well as an auxiliary lot accessible from Liberty Street. The parking parcel behind the courthouse and Reininger and Moffitt is about .291 lot size with the auxiliary lot off of Liberty Street at .0157. You probably don't have any history on the. Okay,
No, I don't have any history on the parking, but I think it's important to note that parking has always been a problem downtown. It's been very limited. We have a lot of people going in and out of the magistrate courts, as well as the courthouse on a daily basis. Jurors have been, as former circuit clerk, I remember the issues that jurors had finding parking spaces that they didn't have to pay a meter, or that when they did have to pay a meter, they'd have trouble getting out to do it on a timely basis. So that's always been an issue. So the parking has always been an issue, and I think that that's something very important to consider.
And when you say that it's a parking issue from our government uses on our sites?
Absolutely, yes, thank
Just to
you.
clarify. Thank you.
So the next slide, so the tourism market. Jefferson County leads West Virginia in tourism spending with over $825 million in annual visitor expenditures, more than any other county in the state. Tourism here is growing steadily, driven by visitors from DC, Northern Virginia, and beyond, who come for history, gaming, recreation, and dining. With a strong, diverse tourism base and a year-over-year growth, downtown Charlestown offers investors rare access to West Virginia's most dynamic visitor market.
Yeah, and as a member of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, on the board, I know how important it is to be able to bring people downtown, to see all the history that's there, and to appreciate the facility, the courthouse, and the surrounding areas, and it just means a lot to be able to do that.
Slide. So thank you for taking the time to explore these properties with us. Each building carries its own story, purpose, and potential. And while they've served Jefferson County well for decades, they're now ready for a new chapter. As we prepare to transition into modern facilities, these spaces offer a rare opportunity for thoughtful reuse in the heart of Charlestown. I'm excited to see how they continue to serve the community in fresh and meaningful ways. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Before you move on, could you tell us a little bit about the clock tower building needs to turn into a new court system? I know you already presented and we discussed at length at our last meeting, but I think many in the audience were not there. So if you could give a brief overview, the $11.5 million, what is that all about?
So a lot of that is security needs, and we also, part of that security need is adding elevators to that building. So that's a big expense, around $1 million per elevator. So we need elevators to bring in transport inmates for their trial dates from ERJ. They need their own elevator that's separate from the public and separate from judges and their staff. We also need a separate elevator for the judges and their staff coming into the buildings. There are 2 public elevators in the building right now, but we need to add those additional ones for the security needs. Outside parking is needed for private parking for the judges, secured parking, so when they get out of their cars, they can go directly in the building from behind a secured gate. Things outside the building include cameras, bollards, which protect the building from being driven into. Inside the building, things like X-ray machines, metal detectors, cameras inside, specialty glass on the 1st and 2nd floor that is ballistic resistant, as well as tinting on the glass to make sure no one can see into the windows as far up as the 4th floor from another rooftop far away. Things to consider too is the flow of traffic with visitors and court staff, as well as victims and domestic violence. You don't want someone who's there for domestic violence to be sitting right next to the perpetrator. And Mrs. Nolan can probably speak to that as well, as being a former circuit clerk and magistrate.
Yeah, the security is so important in the judicial building, and you don't want juveniles with adults. And so all of these security issues have always been an issue. So it's really important, and it would be wonderful to be able to have a building that actually, where security is what it should be. Right now, there are inmates that are walked across the street from the magistrate building into the courthouse, that it's just a real safety issue, safety for both the inmate as well as the officers that are accompanying them. And so just to be able to have everybody safe and secure in knowing that they're able to come to the courthouse and not feel threatened, have to be able to separate certain people. And so to have that security and that safety is going to mean a lot to the residents and people that need to use the service.
Thank you. Our initial estimate was about $9 million, and then after working with Ms. Nolan, Mr. Oxer, several other experts on court security, it's been up to about $11.5 million. And now, would it be fair to say, Director Kuhn, that this is it's not a final number, we'll see, but it's a good enough number for us to work with so we can start moving forward?
Yes, I believe so. It is a working number, but I think we have a good start at and we have a better idea now of what the court needs are after hearing from the experts who are in those buildings and working through trials and seeing everything that could go wrong and how we need to, going forward with a new building, we need to do it right for everyone's safety.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.